Your customers are waiting and they're asking, when will it be done? The problem is that your current project tracker doesn't make it obvious which projects are stuck, how long they've been there, or what's holding them up. In this video, I'll show you how to use a work in progress aging chart to identify problems before they become customer complaints. Here's what we'll cover in this video: the chart itself, how to do a daily project review, and tools to build the chart. Okay, let's get started. For the chart walkthrough, at a high level, it looks like a scatter plot where the x-axis is the process stages. In this example, I'm using a typical residential solar process, but you can use any process you want, like software development, customer onboarding, etc. Basically, anything that you can split up into linear phases. And on the y-axis, we have time elapsed. Again, in this example, because it's a solar process, I have it set to months, but for something like software development, you might only be looking at days or weeks at most. Okay, now let's talk about the dots themselves. So every single dot represents a project, feature, customer, etc., whatever you're tracking within this process. You place each dot in the current stage that it's in and how much time has elapsed since the starting point. What's really important here is that you're looking at overall time and not just time in each phase. So that means is that as a project progresses from, say, site audit to design, the dot doesn't drop back to the very bottom and start all over. It continues aging from wherever it was last in the previous stage. The reason this is important is, think of, let's say you hire a contractor to remodel your kitchen. You don't care that demolition, cabinets, plumbing, painting, etc., they're all different phases. What you care about is how long is it going to take from when I sign my contract to the project is complete. And so in the same way that your customers experience one continuous wait, or that you experience one continuous wait, your customers are experiencing that. And so this is why you want to keep it as one continuous time elapsed. Okay. Now let's talk about these color bands, because this is what really makes this chart useful. The colors are green for healthy, yellow at risk, red in danger, for the amount of aging that has happened. So there is a healthy amount of aging that you expect as something progresses. Processes aren't instantaneous, so you don't go automatically from site audit through interconnection in a single moment. It takes time to get through this process, but there's a reasonable amount of time. And if you start to go beyond that, that's when you start to feel like there's a problem, and as a customer, you start complaining. And so what we do here is, to set it up, is you can use historical data. So for example, I'd look at the last couple months of project data and use my 85 percentile cycle time to set my green zone, 95 percentile for the yellow zone, and then anything beyond that is the red zone. That's just a starting point, but your process may be slower than you want it to be, and therefore your cycle time green zone might be, so let's say today it's 4 months. Maybe 4 months is not actually healthy for your industry. Maybe this needs to be down to 3 months. So just use it as a starting point and then set your bands at what feels appropriate. Okay, now for the daily project review. Okay, so what I like to do is start on the top right, then work my way left and down. And so what that looks like in practice is I would go to this interconnection phase, and these top two projects that are in the red zone, I'd start looking at those first. The reason I start here is that these projects only have one last stage to get to complete. And so this might be an interconnection approval. Maybe someone needs to make a quick phone call. If this was a software development process, maybe it's final QA approval. And then we can get this done, make the customer happy, and have one less thing on our plate. So once I've reviewed those projects, I start working my way through the red zone, going towards the left and down. And what's especially concerning is if something is really far to the left, but really high up on the vertical axis. So this project here in site audit, that's roughly 5 weeks old, is especially concerning because it's already started off on the wrong foot. And I want to get this back to healthy. If I can intervene in this project and get it through design and permitting quickly, I'll be back in the yellow and potentially back in the green by the time it gets to installation. Okay. You'll do that through all the projects in the red zone, yellow zone, and then even these green projects that are on the cusp of getting into the yellow zone. Anything beyond that is progressing pretty quickly and doesn't need intervention. Okay. Now for the tools to use. So some of the tools that you can use are pivot tables in Google Sheets or Excel. It's not going to look as nice as the scatter plot since a cycle time work in progress aging chart is not an out-of-the-box chart in those tools, but it achieves pretty much the same results. It's just going to look slightly different. You could feed that same data into a custom app. So I made something with ChatGPT sites in about 10 minutes, and it's got a pretty close visualization. But for the best experience, I would use a tool off-the-shelf SaaS like Actionable Agile. This works great with Jira as it's fully integrated, but you can also load in your own data from any source. You'd also build something like this in HubSpot or whatever other CRM tool you use, or a BI tool like Tableau. But honestly, the best experience is going to be something like Actionable Agile. The key lesson here is a work in progress aging chart helps teams find delays early, remove roadblocks, and complete projects before they become customer problems. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments, and also let me know which tool you'd like me to go into a deeper dive. I can show you how to set up either the pivot table, Actionable Agile, or whatever tool you're using. And other than that, I'll see you in the next one. Thanks.